It is going to be a scorcher today. They're saying record highs for the day. Forecast says 94. Obviously heat indexes will be higher. So definitely gonna be a hot one. Because I am awful at keeping records, I thought I'd take this shot to show that I just opened this bag in the evening. I was able to get 3 scoops out of the last bag. I had to get 2 out of this bag for the evening feeding. That is bag 12 so far. I didn't film it, but I just clipped Luna's other wing. I've always heard if you clip one wing, when they try to fly, they'll be crooked and they won't be able to do it. Well, she's been doing it. She jumps up on the gate and wanders around at her will and jumps back up and gets in. So this today was it. The raccoons were the original instigators of digging up my tomatoes and peppers, and they actually dug deep holes, and we know it was raccoons because we caught them and dispatched them. So now it's just chicken scratching, the shallow stuff, but it's enough to get these peppers and tomatoes unearthed. So here was a pepper that was completely dug up. She's dug up 3, a mortgage lifter there where Lucky's feet are, a Paul Robeson there, and a Paul Robeson here. Clipping her other wing tonight is a last-ditch effort, and if that does not work, then those 2 meat birds that aren't doing so well aren't going to be the only ones going to freezer camp. Just saying. As much as I love her green egg, I don't love it enough to have her keep destroying my crops. Consider yourself warned, Luna. Doesn't seem too hot until you factor in the humidity and the fact that this thermometer is in the shade. So it's warmer out in the sunshine here, especially in the summertime. And I'm already finding it very, very hot. While some people like to say they are frost tender flowers, I definitely wilt in the heat. Did a little bit of watering this morning. It's going to be another hot day today. Of course, watering is one of those chores you don't mind doing on a hot day. Not a thorough soaking. I have set the sprinkler up over there in the middle of the totes, and that'll stay there for an hour. Then I'll probably move it into the tomato beds for an hour. And then I'll bring it over here to the end of the tomato beds and the pepper bed and the flower bed over there. Okay, trimming is done. Come on this side so I can read my little labels. Alright, so this is the sweetie cherry all trimmed up, the gobstopper cherry, and then I got an orange currant and a champagne bubbles planted. And then the same on this side. Here in the tomato bed, we have everybody all trimmed up. We have the 4 Dr. Witchies, the 3 San Marzanos, which have survived the coon and chicken apocalypse very well. And over here we have the 5 pork chops, 4 of which survived. Well, yeah, 4 of which survived the coon and chicken apocalypse, and 1 that got replanted because the cat snapped it off. But that's okay. The part that got snapped off, I repotted, and it's doing fabulously. So we'll plant that somewhere else at some point. Then over here, we got the 2 Paul Robesons I have left here, trimmed up. I'm waiting until the end of the day to see if Luna stays in. And if she does, then I will plant the extra Paul Robeson I have here. Where Lucky is, I will probably plant my extra pork chop, the one that was originally snapped off by Lucky. Yes, I'm talking about you. Then here in the 2 mortgage lifters, where I am missing 1 from the chicken, I will probably plant my extra San Marzano. They're both reds. The San Marzano is a little one for making sauces, and the mortgage lifters are supposed to be big ones, so it'll be obvious which is which. And then of course we still have our 5 pineapple tomatoes that have done well, and we've got them trimmed up and all the flowers cut off. And then we have 2 of the black crim, and then the sweetie cherry and the gobstopper cherry that we planted there in place of them. Now I did take a teeny tiny sucker off of one of the black crims, and I did go ahead and put it in a pot, a little cup, and we will see if it actually will make it. Hopefully it will. Potatoes are looking good. We're getting more of the Yukon Golds coming up. You can see where it's pushing up the hay. Even when you can't see the leaves, you can see where they're going to be coming out. The red Norlands are doing fabulous, along with a couple of those volunteers. And then we have lots of the purple ones, Adirondack blues coming up with all the other stuff left over from the fall garden. It's a beautiful day, but the temperature is rising, which means it's time for me to head inside. Y'all have a fabulous day. What a welcome relief this has been. It actually was down in the 50s overnight. And today is going to get back up in the 80s, which is fine, but it is just nice to be able to walk out your door and feel cool air. Yesterday it was 70 when you wake up, so yeah. Today is Thursday, June 23rd, I believe, and I am opening bag number 13 for the evening feeding. There's a little more than half a scoop in the last bag, and so we'll get the other 4.5 scoops out of the new bag. Just trying to keep track of how much feed they're going through each day, or how many days it takes to go through a bag of feed. Luna did not get out yesterday, and I am very, very glad of that. So hopefully my tomato rows will be safe. Amaranth and Swiss chard are looking lovely. Over here, everything's looking good. There were some things in here that I worried about whether or not they were going to make it. And now I think they're doing okay. The orange balm did get dug up. It's underneath there. But hopefully it will reroot and stay and thrive. I did pick some of the kale yesterday. That was nice. The aromas are starting to grow. The onions are looking good. It's hard to tell whether or not they're starting to bulb out. Some of them kind of look like they might. I'm rather excited to see how they turn out. I have to wait until they look like they're starting to die off and fall over. And when that happens, then we can pick them and see whether or not I actually got any onions to bulb. So hopefully we'll have all sorts of onions this year. Sunflowers are looking good. This one looks like it's starting to form a little head. Cool. I planted these zinnias in this stump and a couple of sunflower seeds for the small gold ring sunflowers because the plants that were in there before had not come up. There was a stone crop. It was actually kind of orange. And then there was this little plant that I picked up at a greenhouse one year, and it was kind of pinky yellow green variegated foliage. That's all it did. And to my surprise, the year after I bought it, it came back. And I was like, oh, this is wonderful. You know, guess it's a perennial. Well, this year, I did not see it coming back, so I thought, okay, here we are. It's almost, you know, mid to late June or whatever, and I went ahead and planted these zinnias in here. Which one has a little bud on it. It's going to be a pink one, I think. And then what to my wondering eyes do I see this morning? Hey, get out of the flower bed. But here is Lucky, get down. Here is that plant coming up. It's kind of yellow, pinky green. It'll have more variegation and color as it's coming up. But yeah, that is coming up now that I planted other stuff in it. Okay, Lucky, I'm sorry. I know, I'm such a mean bully. But you get in the flower beds and you lay on the plants. That is not good. Then my other project today, very short, brief one. I finished chopping and dropping the comfrey. The one here in the center and that first one in the grape arbor are the ones that I kind of experimented with to see if they would come back. And of course they did, and they look lovely. And as I was chopping up the rest, I realized they were already coming back. So my friend Becca said you pretty much cannot kill comfrey. So I thought that's fabulous. And now that Luna is staying in her chicken run, instead of getting out every day and scratching up everything, I went ahead and chopped the big stalks of comfrey off and laid them down as mulch around the grapes. And now the grapes have all sorts of sunshine. I went ahead and I planted over here the dark red hibiscus on the outside, and the Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth on the inside. And then I kind of repeated that over here. The sunflower seeds I planted weren't coming up, so I don't know if they were just too old or what. But this Love Lies Bleeding, you can see part of it is laying on the ground here. I don't know what happened to it, but it kind of started wilting. But this bottom branch on it was doing much better. Thank you, Lucky. And so I went ahead and cut off the part that was damaged, and we'll see if that one branch will take over and become the plant. So lots of stuff yet to do in the garden, but it has been a lovely day, a little warm, so I've spent most of the day inside, plus I'm working. I did clear out some of the peppermint around that little kale plant, so it can get some sunshine and keep growing. But mostly today we ran the sprinkler, moved it around the garden so everything could get a good soaking since we're in the middle of this kind of heat wave. As long as I'm here, I'll have a few snacks. Y'all just don't know what to do when there's something different, huh? Camera sitting on the bucket scares you? Silly birds. Morning, Luna.